Alright, hello everyone. I am doing a little tiny bonus stream. My name is Jasmo, and this is my work. I didn't quite get to finish things this morning, because I had to rush out the door because I was spending the entire afternoon with my mom doing various things. Errands, there you go, errands. So, I'm going to try and get ahead for next week, because next week I need to take, not next week. I'm just trying to get ahead. I'm just trying to get ahead in general. It's not next week I need to take a day off, it's the week after, and the farther ahead I can get, the better. So, ta-da, poof, I'm done. I'm done, alright. Oh, little text message here. Oh, I have no idea what I want to do for dinner. No clue. No clue what I want to do. Alright. Let me change up two things here. Page, aha, 9, inks. Update for me on Twitch. I'm streaming only to Twitch right now. Oh yeah, we already have soup, sure. That was pseudily planned ahead of time. Alright. That didn't take me very long at all now, did it? Let's export. Yeah. Yeah, we'll export and move on to page 9. 9 out of 10. This makes me happy. I'm only going to be working maybe an hour. So let's see. Let's do a new page with not a yellow background, please. You can do it. Yay! Drop our page 9. Resize not yet. Don't resize yet. Our border from our previous page gets pasted over here. And we rename that to border, not barter, border. There we go. And we also save it. Save it as page 9. Ta-da. Ta-da. And then we resize. And then we resize. There we go. Yeah, I'm not playing Dragon Age this afternoon because I was gone most of the afternoon doing errands. I usually play a game in the afternoon, Starbound or Dragon Age currently. But I needs to work. I needs to work. Hey, there we go. That seems a little tall, doesn't it? Let's move you down a smidgen or two. I don't like having panels within panels, but, and by that I mean this border is the actual border of the page, so these could actually, you know, expand out that far, but they're not going to, so that looks about good. So let's put in our panel lines. This is size 2 for the ink, 2 for the ink, there we go, and where's my purple? And just save often. Save often. I'm going to be talking to myself most of this video, I'm sure. Please bear with me. Please bear with me. Like I said, it's maybe only an hour or so long. I'm going to go straight through her head. There. We'll erase it later. Music is brought to you by Monster Cat Media. You can find them on YouTube. And if you don't monetize your videos on YouTube or elsewhere, you can use their music for free. They'll just do a little copyright claim so they can get their money's worth. But if you do monetize your videos, you can buy a license from them in order to use their music. And it's pretty inexpensive. Wow, it's a complicated panel. Oh dear. Oh, we can cook the deer tomorrow. Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. Sorry, chatting, texting with my husband, you know, planning the next few days worth of food and what we're gonna be doing with it. So I made a huge batch of like cauliflower and chicken soup last night. Turned out 10 times bigger than I thought it was going to. So we have a lot of leftovers. Of course, we'll probably freeze some of it. So we can use it for days when we're like, oh, we don't have a lunch, what do we do? And yeah. Oh, I didn't. And it just suddenly got dark in here. clouds. Clouds are to blame. Alright. Nope. New line. There we go. All the way down? I think I'm actually going to cut all of these off. This is Hadley. This is actually Hadley right here. Don't mind the Darkened Terror. Don't mind the Darkened Terror. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes Chandra fills it in, sometimes he doesn't. He just puts little X's, which is totally fine. Totally fine. I'm sure that turned out okay. Okay. Yeah, perfect. Save. Okay, now everyone. We'll just follow his lines here for the panels. I think, yeah? About there? Yes, very good. Very good. I'm actually more upbeat and awake than I thought I would be. Way more upbeat and awake than I thought I would be. I thought I'd be totally exhausted and run down by now. There we go. Oh, no. Scoot you over just a little bit. There we go. Are they? Okay, I'm like, are these on the right layer? Please be on the right layer. And they are. Let's see, there's... So... Okay. So, okay, all outside of these panels is supposed to be dark. Chandra has motioned for everything to be dark except for this. But it kind of makes sense that everything else is dark except... Oh, I see. Maybe I see, I don't know. The panel lines for this kind of melt in between here, which means it flows out into the rest of it. But so we need to cut that off. We actually need to cut that off, and we should probably cut that off somewhere where there's not too much visual tension. There you go. Visual tension to where it looks kind of awkward. Like there's something off about it, but you don't quite know what. We want to try to avoid that. So now we have a complete panel, so it doesn't bleed off into the rest of the open space, which is good. It'll make it easier for me to color. Make it way easier for me to color. And this is the last little panel line, and it meets up right there. Doesn't it? Doesn't it? Yeah, it does. Okay. Ta-da! Make sure these are all good. And there's no overlay or overlap. Okay. Panels. Panels are surprisingly done. So, get our large lines, change over to red. Change our size up to a 3 on the ink. Silhouette time. Save it. Save often. Save often. That'd be sweet if I can actually get stuff inked, but it's going to definitely take me more than an hour to do that, so I will get as far as I possibly can before calling it, because the next time I will be able to work on this is on Monday. Like I said, I want to try to get ahead just a little bit. Just a little. There we go. Pop my wrist a little bit. There. Because yeah, I wanted to try to get part 2 done. This is part 2, page 9 out of 10. Wanted to try and get it done before October, so I can send it off to my letterer so he could possibly get it lettered by like the end of October. No pressure on that though. He's got until like December 31st to letter just the cover, because I only post 1 page a week of this comic. And part 2 is gonna start posting it on December 31st, which is the last Thursday of the year. Because I really wanted like January 1st to be the first Thursday of the year, but such was not the case. So I was like, well, I don't want to wait for another whole week before it's the first Thursday of the year. So why not just put it on the last Thursday? And of course, the schedule is self-imposed. I don't have to necessarily stick to it. This comic doesn't have a following of any kind. At least not yet. And I'm not expecting it to get one. This is really just a personal project, a story that I really want to tell. And if people happen to like it, awesome. It's not entirely necessary. Oh, no, don't do that. Okay. I wonder if Slumbering Giant is streaming. He is kind of like an art/streaming buddy now. He's on Watch Me Work, the other website I normally stream to in the mornings. He is also definitely an artist. He does do like critiques and whatnot. And it's just kind of nice and refreshing to be able to talk to another artist about art. Because I don't really get to do that. And we'll erase that. And that. I'm actually going to check. I'm actually going to check to see if he's on Twitch right now. And that's a no. That's alright. He streams at kind of random times of the day. He doesn't have a schedule yet, so... yeah. Okay, other thick lines that we need here. I'm much more talkative this afternoon than I was this morning. This morning I think I just shut up and worked, which I might need to do. I probably should do. Sure, I'm going to turn up my music on my end and then clam up and just work until someone pops into the chat. Which they may or may not know that I talk. Or can talk. I'll surprise them if anyone pops in. Kuro, hello. I muted myself instead of not muting myself. Hello, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Let me actually type that. Thank you. Glad you like. Well, I'm just outlining a candle at the moment. Sure. What do you look like? Okay. You look like a rectangle. Kuro, thank you for stopping by. How are you today? I'm just working. I'm just working here. I can talk and be interrupted all you like. Sure, okay. There we go. Lines. Ah. Scrambled eggs and tomatoes can work, but I'm not entirely sure how. I'm not a fan of eggs, though. Sorry it didn't turn out well. Can always try again another day. Unless it just turned out so bad you don't want to. Kuro is in the chat with me now. Hey, I broke my silence. Let's see. Oh, it's like your 10th try. Aww. Aww. This might sound weird. Have you tried, like, drying the tomato before you put it in the scrambled eggs? Like, actually taking the chopped up tomato and, like, patting the excess liquid off? I don't know if that would work. It's probably a really bad suggestion. Flame on. Let's see, flame on. Sure. There. Ah. Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about scrambled eggs and tomatoes since I'm not a fan of eggs. I don't know how you make your scrambled eggs either. If you make them with like milk or a liquid, some people like to use half and half to make scrambled eggs, or cheese. I think it'll still turn out liquidy though. If you don't like liquidy eggs, it's probably a bad idea. I don't know how to get eggs not liquidy. That's the thing. That's probably the thing that bothers me most about them. Oh dear. It's a weird flame. It's a weird flame. Trying to balance it. Okay. Ah, butter, yeah? You just do a little pat of butter and then like the eggs in it. That usually turns out pretty well. And you might have to wait until like the scrambled eggs are like halfway cooked before adding the tomato in, so the liquid from the tomato doesn't keep making the eggs super liquidy too. Or you could use dried tomatoes, like sun-dried tomatoes? I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna put this in the outline. Oh yeah, or you can cook the tomatoes first, yeah. And you can almost, I think, like caramelize the tomatoes. So yeah, they'll kind of get a little sticky, and I think they might stick to the pan just a little bit. But yeah, you can do that, and then and the eggs reds. Hello. It's weird how Americans and Brits say tomato differently. Oh yeah, just a bit. Like, I think we say herb, and they say herb. And, tomato, yeah, tomato. Let's see. I'm just doing a little bit of tiny work today, guys, instead of playing a game, because I want to get ahead for next week. Like, for some reason I have this desperate need to get ahead when I don't really need to. I think I just want to keep working on it and making progress so I don't get too lax, too lazy, and forget about it. Not that I'll forget about the project. I'll forget where I am. I think. Oh my god, I'm making really good progress today. Come here. There we go. Ta-da! Oh my god, Rez, you're thinking about building a PC for Fallout 4. That would be sweet. I forgot a line. Damn it. That would be sweet to build a new PC. Inquiry. Ah, you've never built a PC before. There's actually quite a few ways to go about doing it. You can either go to like a trusted website that sells PC parts and you pick them out, right? Actually, that's probably one of the only ways to do it. You pick out the parts and you basically get them all shipped to your house and then you put them together yourself. Or you can pick out all the parts and send it to someone else so they can build it. I think those are a couple options. Let's see. My husband Jim actually built the PC I'm using now. He researched all the parts for it, found a box that everything would fit into, shipped it all to the house, and then he put it together. He did that one for himself too. And doing it yourself, you know, lowers the cost just a little bit, but it's still quite spendy to do. It is still quite spendy to do. Depending on what you want to use it for. If you just want to use it for, like, you know, Word documents, Excel, emails, and maybe some web browsing, you don't need that powerful of a PC. But if you want to do gaming, if you want to do some really awesome gaming, it's gonna be spendy. You know nothing about hardware, you're a complete noob. Let's see, Jim usually goes to newegg.com, I think, is the website. But I would try to find forums about building a PC, definitely. Oh yeah. It's fun to build, yeah. I will suggest getting an SSD hard drive instead of a mechanical hard drive. I will highly recommend an SSD. It is worth it. Because, like, yeah. We've had non-SSDs. we have mechanical hard drives and SSD hard drives. SSD hard drives are much faster on boot up and just faster in general. And they have no moving parts, which means, you know, less wear and tear on the actual thing. on the actual hard drive. And of course, I would get a pretty decent graphics card and a decent power supply. Oh yeah, there are SSD HD hybrid hard drives. I believe we're using just an SSD. Let's see, we built a mini PC for our living room. Basically because we don't have cable and we don't watch TV at all. We only watch Twitch, YouTube, and Netflix. And so we made like an inexpensive little PC for the living room. And it has an SSD in it, and it's pretty damn awesome. It's nice, neat, and fast because it doesn't have to do a lot of things. And it's small. It's like super, super small. But gaming, your gaming rig is going to have to be pretty big. There's a guy on YouTube named Barnacles, and I don't know how to spell his name. It's not spelled phonetically. But Barnacles, let me see if I can look him up. I think he has the specs for his gaming rig. Where is Barnacles? Yeah. This guy. I think he has the specs for his gaming rig. And you don't have to go this insane, but he's got awesome stuff. Without the spaces. Or look up Nerdgasm, Nerdgasm. Yeah. He's a tech guy. He's a techie. And you can also look at some Twitch streamers to see what specs they have for gaming. Man vs. Game on Twitch. Holy crap, where did that come from? Man vs. Gaming on Twitch. Let's see, there's Margaret Crone, or Luperza, on Twitch. They do a lot of gaming. Let's see, JP does a lot of gaming and munition. Those people usually have their specs. Alright, so you do have a budget. Yeah. You do. Well, it's good you have a budget. Stick to your budget, because it can easily blow up. It can easily blow up. Let's see. You can probably build a... I'm not entirely sure what the translation or the exchange, there you go, what the exchange rate is for that. But you can build a pretty decent, or yeah, a decent gaming rig, I think, for about that much. It's really a graphics card, the video card, the power supply. Don't skimp on the power supply, because we skimped on our power supplies and they nearly burned our house down. They nearly melted the computer on separate occasions. So spend just that little extra bit on a power supply. Because it's better to be safe than sorry. Definitely. And it's not that, like, the cheap ones always burn out or always get hot. It just depends on if you get a good one. Or a reputable one. There you go. Yeah, Bethesda tends to be nice to its gamers and not require, like, super high-end tech for their games, so that's nice. That's always nice. I guess, yeah, a decent monitor, too. There's a few key things that I think really make a good gaming PC. At least in my experience, in my opinion, only you'll have to do all the research to actually find out. Kuro knows a lot more than I do. A lot more than I do. let's see. Oh, I didn't need to do that, but I did do that. Oh well. Continue. Yeah, I would definitely do research. Do research. Read the reviews people post. The good ones and the bad ones. Like, just really study for it, because you don't want to end up like a part burns out and you don't know what to do with it, or something breaks like right out the get-go. I mean, also have a backup plan, you know, save all your receipts, make sure places have return policies or like tech support. Try to protect yourself a little bit just in case something goes wrong, because it may or may not, you never know. Hope for the best and plan for the worst. Let's see. That's not... Oh yeah, that works. That works. Yeah, I would definitely post what you're thinking of building on several forums to get some feedback, because someone may be like, well, there's this other part that's less expensive and does better, or, you know, people will be like, that's great, or, you know, however, getting feedback is great. Oh, yeah, good graphics. Come from, of course, a graphics card. But, yeah. You just want to be well-rounded, well-protected. Because like I said, we got, like, the least expensive power source, the little power cable that plugs your PC into the wall. And, they both burned out. They nearly melted, and so we got, like, the next step up in price, and it's worked great so far. I'm not sure if video card and graphics card are the same. I'm not that technically inclined, but Kuro says yes. You would think it was kind of obvious if it was, but I never know. I never know. Okay, the GPU video graphic card. Okay, is it graphics? Okay, you'll learn something new. Wait, is that... Oh, those are her collarbones, I see. Those are her collarbones, not part of the shirt. Did I even move this? I don't think I did. Okay, a little bit. There. Yeah, it never hurts to double check on terminology, because something could have two names, or, you know, two things could possibly have the same name or close to the same name. It never hurts to double check. Especially if you've never built a PC before. Make sure I'm on the right layer. I am. Okay. Scooch you. Scooch. Scooch. There we go. Yeah. I like building an... I'm not sure if I need a new new PC, I think I need just a different setup in general, because right now I have a office and I have a game room, but they don't actually need to be separated because you can put the computers next to one another. They don't need their own separate rooms. As I'm finding out, I don't mind having my own office. I've got it decorated and it smells really good because I have sandalwood fumes, vapors, I suppose. Yeah. My only advice is like the power source. that's like one of the only things that didn't turn out well. Other than, I will say for some reason, like half of our USB ports on the PCs that we've built just don't work. I don't know if that's us or the actual computer, like if we busted them when we were putting things together or something else. A lot of emails, Jesus. And anything that Kuro says, anything that Kuro says. Let's see, I will say 2 monitors are better than 1, if you can afford it. I would definitely suggest at least 2 monitors. Unless, well, yeah, you're building your PC for Fallout, so 2 monitors is great. I love having 2. Because I can have one full screen dedicated, hey, to the work that I'm doing, and the other screen dedicated to, like, I have OBS up, I've got my music up, and I've got Twitch up so I can see the chat. Instead of, like, trying to split my screen up a million different ways. And many a time when I've been playing games, I'm wanted to look something up, but I would have to wait. Because I would be playing on my PC. You do make a good point, Rez, and that was actually like my husband's, and not concern or worry, but he thought that having 2 separate rooms would, you know, help with the mindset. And I'm like, well, a little bit, except, you know, for the longest time, my work PC and my game PC were on the same thing. I was just running out of space because we had a lot of games, and my work is huge. Like, some of these images are gigs in size, just massive, and so I was running out of room, and I needed something to help compensate. I won't argue that having an office separate of the game room probably does help with mindset, but I wouldn't mind it if they were in the same spot. Oh, that's really... oh. Ugh. Let's move this down here. There we go. There we go. I'm usually a very practical person. I don't do a lot of fluffy things. I have the barest amount of makeup and clothes, like the smallest amount of clothes a person can get away with, and shoes and all that other stuff. And yet we have a room for gaming and a room for an office. At least for me, I literally have my own office while Jim does not. Because he actually decided to combine his work and game stuff together, except he doesn't really have many other hobbies other than gaming. So yeah, having 2 rooms for computers. Okay, I take it back. It's not just for my computer. I've got a painting easel and a jeweler's desk and just a little craft table, as well as my work PC in the same room. So I can't really fit all of that into a game room and call it a game room. But I want to downsize so badly. I want to downsize so badly. I've been very fortunate to collect these things and use these things and make use of them, but I would like to condense everything down onto one table. That's just what I want to do. I've always been that way. It's like spreading out into a house is weird. Yeah, like, gaming is what we spend our money on. Like, entertainment, basically. That's our hobby. I'm gonna not do that. So that is the thing we do, because no pets, no kids, and pretty much you're like nothing else. Anything I do, I try to keep down on the free scale. Like, GIMP is a free program, and OBS is a free program, and the music we're listening to is free as long as I don't monetize my videos on YouTube, which I don't, so the music is free at the moment. Yeah. So I'm used to living like college dorm, one-room apartment life, and having a house that has, you know, three-ish bedrooms. It's like, what do you do with all this space? And very minimalistic. Living a not very minimalistic life at the moment, and I want to do that again. It was very comfortable. It's very comfortable for some reason. Don't have to keep track of a lot of stuff that way. I am the same way, not very materialistic. Like Reds. I prefer books and gaming or traveling. Yeah, I've traveled a lot. In high school, my mom did these EF educational tours because she's a teacher, and they were relatively inexpensive, and I went on several of them and basically got to explore most of Europe in a couple of years, like 2 years. Yeah, 2 or 3 years. Went over a couple times. I much prefer that over things. Experiences over things, definitely. Which makes it difficult for everyone else when it comes to be like Christmas time or birthday time. And I'm like, don't get me anything. Just don't. It makes me feel guilty. And I don't actually need many things, and if I do need something, I'll get it myself. I agree with you on this also, Rez, is I appreciate art things, but I don't feel the need to actually buy them. Or, you know, have them, collect them. Things that I collect. Things that I collect are rocks. I don't collect them anymore. I used to as a kid. From various places we went, and it's not because it's like, oh, it's a free thing. It's because I really like stones and geological things. So I have a very minute collection of rocks that I keep in a very small box somewhere in my closet. And like, I don't even have much art or pictures other than what I've made in the house. And let's say, yeah, when I was in college, like when I moved back home to finish up college, I had gotten a couple of things because I was taking art classes. I had gotten a horse, which is a weird art thing. It's a bench that you sit on that literally almost looks like a horse. It's meant for, like, you lean a board on it, so you have the proper posture for it. And once I was done with those art classes, I got rid of it. I sold it to another art student, along with all of the supplies that I had gotten and not used. It's like, I really want to let go of a whole bunch of stuff, and I have over the last couple of years, but I want to condense it even more. Very agreeable, Reds. Very agreeable. Geology is interesting, especially when you realize how interconnected it is to things you might not immediately consider. Yeah. I have a few, like, quote-unquote prized geodes that are on display in the living room. They're small, though. I've got two that are about the size of, like, a finger, and then I have one that's about the size of a hand, and it's a gorgeous blue. Not super materialistic. And it actually took some convincing to print out a few pictures of family and put them up. And, like, actually decorate a little bit. Because, you know, it's a house. There are certain things you're supposed to do, quote-unquote. And I'm like, yes and no. I'd love to live in a smaller place. They are very cozy and very safe feeling for me. And you don't need things to fill it up. There we go. There's only like a handful of things I've kept from childhood. Like a few toys that are not fit to give away to anybody because of how much they were loved. And like a couple, like a poster Animorphs. I have an Animorphs poster. But they're in their box in their place. Technil, hello, get a tiny house. We have discussed not actually getting a tiny house, but like how to fit our lives into a tiny house, because although we do want to downsize, we still need a place larger than a tiny house. Or we would still like a place larger than a tiny house. So we need like a small house. Because right now we're living in what I would consider probably a fairly large house. I forget how big it is. But it's smaller than our last one, and the only reason we got our last one and it was so large because it was so inexpensive at the time. And this bothers both of us. Is like, we were living in a duplex, a little tiny 800 square foot duplex, and Jim was about to like graduate and finish college, and his dad was like, well, now you guys can get a house. And we were like, yeah, and we got all hyped up about getting a house. We didn't realize we didn't have to. We didn't realize we didn't have to get a house right away as soon as Jim graduated and got a job and whatnot. We could have held off and saved up a sizable down payment to actually get a house that we wanted to move into, but for some reason we got it in our heads that we had to move out. And we did. And we did like idiots. We were house poor. So house poor for like the two years. Oh, it was very unpleasant. It was very unpleasant living in that house. Being like super house poor, not being able to afford basically anything except for food. It pretty much sucked, and we really wish we had waited. But you know, things have gotten better since then. Obviously, we have a gaming room and I have an office. We've got several computers and a couple of consoles. Things are much better now than they were, thanks to Jim. He actually got a new job about 5.5 years ago. That's much better than his previous one. He hated his previous one. But yeah, we're looking at this house and we're like, it's not really too big, but it is, but a tiny house is too small. So maybe a small house. And I've actually like made a couple of designs for small houses, just to kind of like feel things out and experiment, you know, with things. It would definitely be a non-conventional house, and that I think is what scares us the most. Is if we actually did decide to, you know, pull the trigger, our house would not be conventional in the slightest. It definitely wouldn't be, you know, a family house, like a family of 5 could move into it. Like, no, at best, maybe a college student wouldn't be able to rent it. I'm just like, that's kind of the scary part. I'm using the wrong color. That's okay. Yeah, because, like, we want to work out. We have an exercise room. We've got a Bowflex and an elliptical, and we have that in a bedroom right now. Which is fine, but Jim also does karate, you know, martial arts. And he really, really wants to do it. And right now, the only way he can do that is in the garage. And it's, you know, it gets really hot in the summertime, and it gets really cold in the wintertime, so it doesn't make it that great of an environment. So our house would have to have a large enough area for those things. And then, and that's like gonna be the biggest part of the house probably, are those things. And then we just need like a little nook for gaming, and a decent small-ish kitchen, like we do cook, and then, you know, just 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. It's small. It's not tiny, but it is small. Because we do... Gaming is our main hobby, but we did get some bows for archery, for hunting, this year. We finally managed to save up enough money for it, because we've been talking about it for years. And we finally managed to save up this year to do it. And it's pretty awesome. It gives us one more thing to do that isn't just games. Karate isn't affected by nature's elements. It is, a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a tiny, tiny bit. Like Jim would say otherwise, because, let's see, he goes over to his instructor's place, which is a converted garage in the backyard, and it gets like above 100 degrees in there in the summertime, and then, you know, it gets down to like freezing in the wintertime. And it's a little bit hard to compensate for those. Wintertime is a little bit easier because you can wear heavier clothing. Summertime is a little bit more difficult because they just have like a single fan and an open door to work with, and that's like it. So Jim almost wants like a karate studio or a workout studio-ish, and I made this one floor plan that I actually like, except it's not quite right yet. It's not quite right. I'm gonna show it to you because I can. It's this. It's not quite right, and I will say why. Of course, a garage. It's huge. It's like a 3-car garage. It doesn't probably have to be this large because we really want to get down to 1 car, and it's meant really for like 2 cars and storage. And that storage is for like Christmas stuff, our hunting stuff, and actually that's pretty much it. So it doesn't even have to be this big. The garage can be downsized quite a bit. But we have our workout area over here. The blue is the karate mat. Our elliptical and Bowflex would go here. We'd have our little gaming spot right here / office, and this little L table would be where I have my crafting and painting. And this is the only closet. Well, this isn't the only closet, it's a small closet. You have a weird-ass kitchen, a weird-ass living room, bedroom, and a bathroom. I need to change this whole area right here to better fit, because this is the only wall. That's the only wall in the house. That's not an exterior wall. And it's kind of weird having your bedroom open to the rest of the house, except we don't really have people over at all. Right? So why would it matter? And I would love to either condense this down or change it somehow to make it better. I'm not entirely sure what to do with it just yet, but this would be the closet where the washer and dryer are behind the bed. So I made it thick enough for that, and plenty of space for our stuff, because neither of us have many clothes. But yeah, I need to redesign it just a touch, and then maybe it would be suitable. Maybe. I keep playing around with it from time to time. And of course I get ideas from YouTube and other places, and yeah. There's my tangent. That's my tangent. I mean, I've made other floor plans as well, but it's weird because we don't know exactly the layout that we want or would like, or what's, you know, gonna be awesome and what's not gonna be awesome. Oop. Speak of the devil. Jim is coming home. Alright. Sweet. I already have dinner made, so I don't need to worry about that. So I actually stream until he gets home, which is what I'm gonna do so I can get the most amount of work done. So I can get ahead for next week. Not that I'm behind or anything, I just want to work. I spent all afternoon with my mom and doing various errands, and for some reason we came back and I just wanted to work. I didn't even want to play games, I just wanted to work. Oh god. Get. Oh yeah, that looks great. There we go. Alright, I have seen a floor plan that's very, very intriguing. Very intriguing, where like the living room is a circle, but like the rest of the house is pretty much normal and it's just kind of tacked onto that circle. But it was really cool because the kitchen wrapped around behind it, and there was a bar behind the couch, and it's all one level, no stairs or steps or anything. And like, that would actually be pretty cool, because that bar could be our kitchen table. Because we really don't care if things are conventional or not. But the need or the want to downsize is mutual for the both of us. Thankfully. It's not like it's just me like, I want a smaller house, and Jim's like, I don't. That'd be kind of awkward. See how thick that is. Probably good enough. I'm gonna say that's good enough. Yeah, that I think still looks pretty decent. I am now feeling awkward. I don't... Just a little bit. Yeah, there are lots of videos on small houses. Trust me, if there's a video, I've seen it. I've seen almost all of them. just in doing research, because I think I've wanted a smaller house, probably forever. Probably forever. It's not only intriguing or novel, it's a concept I adore. Is making let's say, a very functional space out of a very small space. I like things nice and neat and organized, and having a small functional space that could function as several different rooms would be ideal. Perfect. I've seen videos on, like, there's an apartment where this guy installed a moving wall, and his bed is a Murphy bed, you know, one that folds down from the wall, and he did the same for the guest side of the room. He got, like, a bunk bed Murphy thing going on where they both pop down. Yeah. Yeah, and not only, you know, is a small house, or smaller house, you know. Well, okay, less footprint. That's not really our goal, but it's a side effect. It's a great side effect. Is a smaller footprint in everything else. Of course, we'll probably still consume the same amount of electricity and water as a standard home. Well, maybe not water, but definitely electricity because of our tech. But we'll be heating a smaller space, cooling a smaller space. Jim also likes small functional spaces. And he's the actual neat freak. I'm just an order freak. My room can be a mess, but so long as the piles are in order, it doesn't bother me so much. But it would bother the crap out of him. I'm just gonna do this. Oh, that's her jaw. Oh my god, that's her jaw. Like, dur dur dur. That's the corner of her jaw. Yeah, it's a really cool combo. We didn't actually figure that out until long after we were married. Is that he likes things neat, clean, and put away, and I just like things neat. So I can organize things into piles and he can put it away. No, he hasn't had to do that for a long time. We've actually been pretty good about cleaning up after ourselves on, you know, a good regular basis. And my office hasn't been that big of a mess for a while. You know what I should have been... I should be working on my mom's jewelry. That's what I should have been doing instead of this. My mom handed me some beads and asked me, can you put these together into a bracelet? I'm like, oh yeah, sure I can. Not a problem. And I've had them for like a month. Just like, oh... Because I've been streaming, I've been working on this comic, and I've been streaming games, and yeah, and having a grand old time doing it, so like nothing else currently exists. Nothing else currently exists for me. And Revs, that's not spectacular news. I don't know if you would want me to actually discuss it, if you're okay with it. That is treatable if you do have it. I do know that. I do know it's treatable if you do have it. I think the usual treatment, though, is some surgery. Yeah. I hope you find out one way or the other for sure. Because not knowing is terrible. Okay, you wouldn't have mentioned it if you were okay with it. Okay. I don't know. I'm new enough to streaming that I still don't know what's entirely acceptable and what's not, especially if someone mentions it in stream. So I need to ask. I have to ask. Definitely try to find a doctor. If you have health insurance, try to find a decent, reputable doctor through your health insurance, and ask HR. If you've got a job, they can usually give you a list. Depending on where you live. That's for the States, at least. And that's most jobs, I think, that would be able to do that. Let's see. So, hyperthyroidism. I think You might have to remind me exactly what it is, but isn't that where... Didn't, like, Andre the Giant have it, and Big Show from WWE, to where you kind of just keep growing and growing, and you don't really have... Your body doesn't have control over a certain chemical or hormone. Free healthcare in the UK. Sweet. Awesome. That for me would take off a lot of stress. I know with these things you can't worry about it too much. Like, that may sound dumb, but patience. Find a doc. Be patient and find people to support you. Be it family or friends or people with similar situation. Or chat. It always helps to really talk about things. It does. I'm not very knowledgeable on hyperthyroidism. Really at all, but I do know it's treatable. Yeah. And you produce hormones yeah, okay. It's when your thyroid gland doesn't produce hormones properly. I was mostly on the right track. Mostly. The two, like, famous examples I know of are Andre the Giant and the Big Show from WWE, and they're huge guys. They're really, really tall. Like, super tall. And Big Show didn't actually know about it until long after he was, like, an adult, I think. And, his body was able to, like, just consume massive amounts of food without really, like, impacting his weight or anything. And he was like, oh, this is great, until he started having a few health issues. And then he found out he had hyperthyroidism, and they went, oh shit. And he had a surgery to get it taken care of, and now he's having, like, he had, this is a few years ago, he had trouble, like, maintaining his weight because he couldn't eat everything anymore. But you need to get it checked out sooner rather than later, that's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah. Reds is actually hoping he does have it because it would be treatable and it would explain a lot of issues that they've experienced throughout their life. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely one way to look at it, for sure. Because, like, I have PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and it's, really common in ladies. But I didn't find that out until, teens? Late teens? And that explains a lot of issues I'm having now. Not that not any issues I had then. Actually, yeah, it did. I had, cysts, which are kind of like fluid-filled blisters on your ovaries for ladies. I don't know if that's too much information. I apologize if that grosses you out, but it's true. When I was a teen, I had to actually go get some drained and surgically removed, and but that doesn't fix it. Cysts can always grow back. Unlike hyperthyroidism, that's definitely permanently treatable. It doesn't grow back. For the cysts, they do. And I have them rupture randomly, and it's god-awful painful. It's like horrendously painful, and there's nothing you can do about it because it's not, super dangerous for them to rupture. It just hurts a lot. The only thing you can do is try to keep up on them with your doctors and keep them either, removed or drained or something, because some of them can get sizable and some of them can lead to more dangerous things like cancers. Yeah. Oh, I might be talking about different things, which are opposite. Oh, hypo and hyper. Yeah, I might be. You have to be careful about what people say on the internet, even if they think they know what they're talking about. Like, feel free to correct me on anything. Honestly, I don't mind, because even if I think I know what I'm talking about, I may not actually know. Which is the one bad thing about the internet, unless, you're currently studying it, or it's your career. It's, salt. Take salt with this. Okay. But anyone on YouTube or watching this in the future, I'm sorry about the ovarian thing, but it is a common thing in ladies. Mostly treatable, but it causes other things later in life. Like when I hit 23, my body just dumped. It just crashed, and it gave me a lot of issues. It gave me a lot of terrible issues. I was able to fix one of those really terrible issues, but now, like, if you don't take hormones or supplements, ladies with PCOS have, you know, facial hair because they have more testosterone than estrogen, and it's really super difficult to maintain or manage your weight, as well as, like, your depression. It's kind of like a bag of things, but if you get, you know, a good doctor and the right medication, find a good combination of stuff for you, it's not so bad, and you can live like a nearly 100% normal life. You just have to take a few pills every now and then on a regular basis, which I actually don't do. I don't do. Mainly because I know what my body's doing and I'm okay with it. But for other ladies, like, definitely check it out. Doctors, they're good, for the most part. Find reputable ones for any issues. I'm almost done with the blue lines. This makes me very happy. This makes me very happy. Yes, salt, Curo, salt. Take everything anyone says on the internet, or maybe even in general, with a grain of salt. And if your bullshit flag goes up, you know, look it up. Make sure, you know, it's right or incorrect, and just tuck that information away for later. Let's see. I have no idea what's up there, but this makes me happy. So I think I only have green lines left. I think. Oh, let me tweak a few things. It's a very large paragraph, so I will type my answers. I understand, though. I understand. Oh yeah, blood tests can take a while. And it's not because the actual tests take 3 weeks. It's because they have so much blood to test that it takes 3 weeks. But some results do actually take that long. You know, blood cultures and whatnot, depending on what they're doing. So patience is definitely the key. And trying not to stress out. But you actually want it to be this, because it would explain a lot of problems. So that's actually, you know, a good thing, I suppose. Oh, 3 months for another to compare. Jesus. Not 3 weeks, 3 months. Oh, that's a long time. That's a long time. Endure. Endure. Can't pronounce words here. Must endure. Endure. Persevere. Hey, there you go. Persevere is a little bit better. There we go. There we go. Oh, I'm not done with the blue. I'm not all done with the blue. Missed some spots. Ah, so they're gonna wait for to see if your body chemistry changes between the first test and the second test. That, yeah. There could be several factors that influence blood tests, you know, blood sugar and cholesterol and blah 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 blah, hormone level at the time, if you're a lady, you know, your hormone levels will change constantly throughout the month. I don't think guys have that same issue. Ah, yeah, spikes. Okay. They need to wait to see if it is a spike in your thyroid doing something. I see. I see. See, this is how much I don't know about it. I'm learning. I like to learn. Yeah, sitting in limbo is not great. It's not great. Like, my oldest brother... Jesus. My oldest brother is usually mildly ill like 100% of the time. And he's got 4 kids, a stay-at-home wife, and like 2 jobs. And he's wondering why he's sick all the time. And he went to the doc, and they were afraid that it was going to be like lymph node cancer because his lymph nodes were always swollen all the time. But no, he doesn't have cancer. He's totally fine. But it was a scare because they had to be in limbo to wait for the tests to come back, and yeah, it just turns out he always runs like a low-grade fever because he's burnt out all the time. Just like, and he can't stop either. He can't stop because he's pretty much like the sole provider for 5 other people and himself. But it is the waiting to find out that sucks. I would say distract yourself, but you kind of need to keep that in the back of your head so you remember. But that's what I would do. I would set myself a reminder for 3 months, like a couple days before the actual thing, to go get tested again and try to forget about it. But that's what I would do, unless I wanted to keep track of my own bodily functions to see if they change. Because you may notice that on some days you do better than others, and it could be because of what you're eating, or how you're sleeping, or even where you're going, depending. I mean, there's a lot of factors that influence how you feel during the day. So you can relax or be proactive, try to gather information just to see. I don't know. I don't know what all the symptoms actually are for hypothyroidism. Let's see, I think now I'm finally done with all the blue lines. Maybe? No? Did I miss? I did. Oh no, that's her hair. Right here, okay. I'm not sure on what any advice I could give, if any. I usually don't like giving advice. I usually only state personal experience and personal opinion. Or at least I try to. Oh, I may not have been doing that these last few weeks. Alright, small. There we go. But it was like, it does suck being in limbo. I've had a few scares that involve limbo, but I won't talk about those. That's why personally I'm like, I'd rather forget about it until it comes up again. But that's just me. None of the symptoms are specific. Yeah, that's the sucky thing. That's the sucky thing, is you really have to do research. Like, if there's a combination of things that you feel shouldn't be happening to you, like certain amounts of depression or eating habits, sleeping habits, just the way you feel, if you don't think it's normal, try looking up symptoms or going to your doctor. I might have to go to a couple of doctors to actually find out what's going on, but I hope it is what you think it is and can be fixed. That would be ideal. I do know some people out there don't even realize what is and isn't normal for bodies and whatnot. It's like, Jim's dad, I think, broke a rib when he was younger, and he didn't know it. And he because the pain wasn't like super bad, and he finally got uncomfortable enough that he went to the doctor, and they're like, "Oh my God, your rib is broken." And he's like, "Really?" And they're like, "Yeah, aren't you in a lot of pain?" And he's like, "No, isn't, I thought it was kind of normal." Or like back pain. Oh, back pain. Thankfully, I know my back pain comes from an injury and isn't normal. But then there are other people, some with depression, who are like, isn't it normal to, always feel this way or feel this way most of the time? Like, no, it's not. It's really, really not. Like, you need to just realize what questions to ask, really. Yeah, if you're born with a condition and you've always had it, you don't know anything different. Exactly. Exactly. Because, like, when I was a kid, I did not comprehend what emotions were. And it wasn't like I was a little sociopath or anything, it's just I didn't understand what happy, proud, I didn't understand what any of those were, and I didn't understand them until I was a teenager. Like, until I was like 17, I did not know what pride was. And of course, I'd read about it, I'd seen it on TV, but I actually had to read the definition of a few different emotions to actually understand what they were. Just like, because I thought it was totally normal for everyone to be neutral and non-expressive. It's like, I never smiled. Like, hardly. Yeah, I was this little robot of a person for most of my life. And that's not normal. It's not normal. It took me a long time to learn how to be expressive, like, just in general. Yeah. And because logic and reason were all I needed. Really, if something was logical, made sense, it was reasonable, that's all it needed to be. That's why I really like being practical. I don't like a lot of fluff. That's why I have very few clothes. I heard so little makeup, I don't even use it 90% of the time and whatnot. Like, if no one ever told me that I needed to wear makeup, well, I don't need to, but like, if makeup didn't exist in my world, like my mom never wore it or anything, it would never occur to me to wear it. It would never occur to me to wear it because when things are advertised, I immediately ignore it. When something is an advertisement, I immediately ignore it because I don't need whatever someone's trying to sell. And that's just the thought process I have always had for that. But it was the emotion thing that I think hit me the hardest. Because I did have boyfriends when I was a teenager, and that emotion part never played into any of it. No, for like the first couple boyfriends, did not play into any of it. And I think that's what the boys actually liked, is because I wasn't a girly girl. But then they found out I was heartless or cold, and it took me forever to quote-unquote warm up. What's this song? The D&B one. The previous one. Let's see. Let me see if I can even find it. I don't even know which one's playing right now. Aha! Okay. Right now, Exogenesis is playing, and it's by Rogue, and the previous one was called Scorpion Pit, the VIP mix by Protostar. You can find all the music that I listen to on Monster Cat Media on YouTube. Yeah. Oh, they probably thought I had a soft part. That soft part didn't show up until I was in my 20s. Yeah. Or like hard to get. I wasn't hard to get at all. I made my intentions, wants, and needs very clear. It was actually because I was so boring that, like, everyone broke up with me. Except for my husband, of course. But of course I'm a lot more lively now than I was then. Yep. I was talking about a breakup yesterday? Not yesterday. Earlier in the week. It might have been yesterday. Hang on. I was talking about a breakup I had when I was a teenager. And, the guy broke up with me because I was so boring. Like, I didn't get excited about things. I wasn't really passionate about anything specific. I was content to just hang out and do nothing. I was really boring, and that's why he broke up with me. And on the way home, like, I kept my composure the entire time I was there, and the entire time I was getting my things out of his room. And on the way home, when I was driving home, I just started bawling. I just started bawling so hard because I had thought I found the guy. I was like 17 or 18 at the time, and I thought I had found the guy that I wanted, you know, to marry. And we had like briefly and non-committedly talked about marriage, and then out of the blue he gets really depressed, and like the next day he's like, I think we should break up. And I was like, excuse me? Just like, really? And on the way home I get pulled over by a cop while I'm bawling my eyes out. And he's like, oh my god, are you okay? And I'm like, my boyfriend! And he's like, did he hurt you? I'm like, he broke up with me! And I was pulled over because I had a headlight out. And the cop just asked if I could get home safely, and I was nodded yes while tears are streaming down my face, and yeah. Yep, that, yeah. But every guy previous to that guy had also broke up with me for the same reason. I've only had like 3 boyfriends before I got married. But yeah, every guy, same reason. I'm boring. And Jim actually kind of likes my neutrality and not need for adventure all the time. Because we have adventure when we play games. We like to play co-op games. We're both gamers. Right now we're playing Star Wars The Old Republic, and we might actually play that tonight after dinner. And I will be streaming it. And he will be talking. Yeah. That'll be fun. We were gonna play Star Wars last night, but I decided I wanted to set up my Twitch page a little bit more, so now when I get a follower, a little follower pop-up will occur with a little sound effect. I'm like, yay! Let me just switch topics here entirely. Yeah, Reds, you make a very good point. You have a very good point. Humans are such social creatures that any social deviation from the norm will really affect your ability to interact with others. This is very true. Oh god. My experiences and outlook on life are so incredibly different. And the way I handle social situations is so incredibly different. I've had to basically learn how to act really well. At least in public settings. Not so much now. It's pretty natural now to be expressive and feel emotions. It wasn't until like 3 or 4 years ago that I've actually started realizing what emotions feel like. Not that I was like a total robot, you know, I knew what being sort of happy was. I was more just content than anything else. But, like, anger is definitely something I feel on a semi-regular basis, now that I am aware of it. But I don't need to, actually, because the things that I get upset about don't affect me directly. It's just really more about, like, this person said something and they're a frickin' idiot for saying it because it doesn't make any sense. There's no fact or reasoning behind it, and I'm like, that, you know, it makes me a little bit angry, but, or getting stuck on a level, or yeah. Anger is relatively new. Happiness is actually relatively new, too. Ever since we moved to our new house, I've actually gotten wrinkles. Like, throughout my life, I have not smiled enough to actually give my face wrinkles from smiling until these last couple of years. Like 2 years we've been in this house, and it's actually given me wrinkles. Like, little tiny wrinkles. I'm not very old, either. It's weird. It's weird and amazing. And I'm hoping I'm not gonna make some derpy eyes here. Please, no derpy eyes. The Borderlands series? Oh yeah, we played the ever-living crap out of that. We love Borderlands. Absolutely love Borderlands. Oh yeah, and we played Gears of War together. Love me some chainsaw guns. Definitely. Please don't be derpy. They're not so derpy. Oh yay, they're not derpy at all. Looks like she's kind of looking up while she's pointing at herself, which is great. Which is great. Let me put this here. Yeah, it's enough about my lack of emotions and experience with him. Oh, yeah. Yeah, if someone's acting weird, you kind of want to avoid them, and it's an instinctual thing. It really, really is. Animal behavior or self-preservation type of thing. So if someone's acting outside the social norm, there is a possibility a disease could be causing it. Oh. It's usually not the case, but it could be the case, and that's why people avoid other people who are mostly strange. I fix that there. But I am more instinctually based than I am emotionally based. That's for damn sure. I have only adapted my expressions and lingo to basically function in the real world without freaking anyone out. I'm sure no one really wants me to talk about that kind of thing. No one wants to hear me talk about that kind of thing. It's totally fine. I can talk about games, food, and art. I don't mind talking about animal behavior because I was studying biology before I turned to art, and animal behavior was one of my most favorite topics. It was one of my most favorite topics. Yeah, a lot of our instincts we don't actually need anymore. Let me paraphrase Reds a little bit, yeah. Yeah, all the basic instinctual stuff is left over from before we reach our current level of development. A lot of it's not even relevant anymore, but it's still there. Yeah, I like to stick to the basics. I like to stick to the basics of instincts. It does too. It's like a double-edged sword, though. If I rely on them, because I have a lot of anxiety, social anxiety, heavily impacts me. And yeah, and so does depression and all this other stuff, but I do not take any medication for it. because I understand that it's chemical imbalances in my body that are causing it. And knowing that, for me, allows me to get through it just fine on a regular, pretty much daily basis. Anxiety is a little bit different though, because the fight or flight comes in. Depression is much more simpler for me to deal with than anxiety. There we go. Jim is a little bit late. I should be going in a few minutes so he can go eat dinner, and then I don't know if he's going to feel like playing Star Wars. He might want to play a little bit of Mario Maker, and then we might play Star Wars. If you want to know when we go live, or when I go live, you can follow me on Twitch or on Twitter at JasmoColors. I usually tweet the split second before I go live, but I'm getting better about that. I'm starting to hopefully tweet a minute or two before I actually start up my streaming, because I realize people actually need time to get to their computers or whatever if they'd like to watch. It took me a long time to realize that. It took me a long time to realize why Day 9 doesn't start his show exactly when he starts streaming. He actually waits for like 5 minutes before starting his show, and it's to wait for people to actually get to their computer or their iPad or whatever. But ethology is fascinating indeed. Simplify ear here. There we go. How are we looking? I think I'm missing a few details over here. Zipper for one. I keep forgetting about the zipper. We finally, oh, speaking of Star Wars, let me go back to Star Wars. We finally found out what frickin' server we're on. Harbinger. Oh. I don't know if my video is going up or down. Yeah, animal behavior will do that to you, depending on what kind of teacher you have, too. Yeah, it really made Rez think of humans as less unique and in control of their instincts than I previously thought. Yep, what... Okay, I'm not going to show my monster side. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about people in general. And just the observations that I've made. It's a little bit too much, I think. And I want people to... yeah. Yep. Why is a church a good place to find laser guns? I don't know if this is a premise for a joke or an actual question. Because chat makes it that much harder to denote inflections. So I don't know if that is... I honestly don't know if that's a joke or a question. I apologize. Oh, okay, it's a joke. It's a joke, and I feel like an idiot. I feel like an idiot. A church is a good place to find laser guns because of all of the pews. Pew, pew, pew. Yeah, pew. Yeah? Jesus. I would say I prefer irony to comedy, but comedy does just fine. I do recognize what a joke is and what it is funny. I do recognize that. It's just difficult to tell in chat sometimes because someone asks a question, you're like, that, you know, the word church is in there, so I really honestly don't know if that's a joke or not. I'm an idiot. I have no tact. If you can't tell, I have no tact as a person. I'm very literal. because of reason and logic, and yeah, and newly evolved emotional states. Yeah, there you go. Oh, mention of Star Wars made you think of the joke because of Pew Pew. Oh, the laser guns. That's why I wasn't sure if it was a joke or not, because that was the first thing I thought of. You had laser guns and Star Wars, so there you go. Oh, eyebrows. Don't forget the eyebrows. People look really freakish without eyebrows. At least in comics, at least in this comic they do. I have not drawn eyebrows a couple of times and it does not look that great. It's kind of startling. God, Jim is taking forever to get home. Oh, because there's construction on the road. Duh. Duh, he keeps telling me about it and I keep forgetting about it. That's alright. Oh, what did I do? Get back up there. There we go. Did I ever notice... I'm waiting for it. Did I ever notice something? The Mona Lisa has no eyebrows. Yes. Yes. I've actually... This isn't bragging. This is only a fact. This is not bragging. I've actually seen the Mona Lisa in the museum in France. Of course, you know, it could always not be the original, but still, I have seen it in person and managed to throw my arm up above the crowd and snag a picture of it when you're not supposed to. That was back when I was a teenager, and I thought, hey, Mom would love this. It's just, yeah. But yeah, I know there's no eyebrows. Unless, yeah, people without eyebrows look very strange to me. I'm sure they do to most. Is my video cutting out at all? It seems like it's cutting out, or maybe it's just my internet's here devolving, as it so often does. You know, I've heard conspiracy theories about how the Mona Lisa is really just a portrait of Leonardo, because she has that weird line across her forehead that usually only men have. Like, it's a painting, it's a portrait. He could have painted it to troll people in the future, but I kind of doubt it. Yeah, so much of, yeah, there's a ton of human emotion that can be expressed with just eyebrows. I agree. I agree. Techno, thank you. Video looks okay, thank you. Okay, so it's just my video reloading on my end when I watch it in my little dashboard queue thingy. Okay. Yeah, because, yeah, these eyebrows are question eyebrows. They're talking about something that they don't, you know, they don't understand, or they're asking a question, or something like that. You know, Chandra likes to use this asymmetrical eyebrow approach, which works, like, most of the time. Most of the time it actually works. And the times that it doesn't, where people should, you know, they should have, like, the happy eyebrow expression, I just change the eyebrows and stick it in. What do I use to stream? I use a program called OBS, and it is a free program, and Twitch actually has a link to it. Oh crap, I'm not much help, Where does Twitch does have and, you know, of course, since they have a link to it, it's like one of the recommended softwares for streaming. And it's not like really simple to use, it's not very intuitive, but there are some really great video tutorials. I think it's Nerd or Die on YouTube has a number of tutorials on how to set up OBS. And I actually used those last night to set up my OBS and my streaming a little bit more, so it's a little bit more professional. So Like, if anyone follows, a little pop-up will say, person has followed, and a little sound effect will play. And I also have a donation button down there somewhere that if anyone donates, a sound will play and their name will pop up with, I'm not sure how, I don't know if I have the amount will pop up too, but at least their name will pop up with the sound. And those tutorials show you how to do that. Oh yeah. My pleasure, Kiro, my pleasure. Oh yeah, it's interesting how many human expressions mean something completely different in our closest living relatives. Yeah. Like a grin in a chimp is aggression or fear. Yeah. I actually take that into play, and if I do smile at someone, I do not show my teeth. Because even I consider that like an aggressive move. I try not to do that, like if I'm speaking to new people in person and whatnot. That might be really weird on my part, but it is something I'm conscious of, and I actually try not to do. Unless, like, they told a really funny joke or made a really funny comment, and then it's okay to laugh. But if I smile at someone, it is not with teeth showing. That's because I'm just a weirdo. It's because I'm a weirdo. Does that actually go... Let's smooth this out a bit here. There. I'm trying to listen to see if the garage door is opening, and it's not. It's taking him like an hour to get home. That's okay. Oh, I think... come here. I think this is like a shiny part on the bottom lip that just the line wasn't drawn in. It doesn't have to be drawn in, but I prefer to close all my lines. Prefer to close all my lines. Yeah, I have learned to smile really well with my eyes, so when I do smile and not show my teeth, you know, I can do a really decent smile that's very sincere. I took a while to learn how to do that. Yeah. Yeah, a smile for a chimp is basically an O face with no teeth, yeah. Because teeth, that's a threat. You know, teeth mean eating. Eating, tearing, fighting, all that good stuff. In nature it does. And for me it does. Not that if anyone smiles at me with teeth, I think they're aggressive. That's not how I do it. Because I know a person's not being aggressive unless, you know, angry face and yelling occur. Then someone's being aggressive. But yeah, I try to be as non-threatening for people to be comfortable around me, so I can try to be comfortable around them because of anxiety. It's great. And this whole little system for surviving. There we go. I've had to learn how to adapt to many, many things over the years. Some more recently than others. I haven't even taken breaks, Jesus. I think I've been going, oh, no, since like 4 or something, so it's not too bad. There you go. There you go. My animal behavior class actually did a small study on betta fish to find out what triggered aggression, or at least, you know, a posturing thing. Is like, if a betta fish wants to make itself look bigger and badder than the dude in front of it, he'll puff out his gills and spread out his fins. But we had to figure out what made him do that. What made the fish actually want to make himself larger? And we had to draw pictures of betta fish in various positions and states. And I was the only person that drew another betta fish head on with its gills out and its fins out, and that was the thing that actually triggered the reaction for the other betta fish to puff up. It was weird. It was weird, and my teacher was like, holy shit. And I'm like, well, that could be just that one beta fish that does it that way. Because, like, we tried profile, profile in different color for the images, and they didn't quite get the same reactions. It got a really heavy reaction when it saw a fish head on. Hey, there's the garage. Yeah. I'm gonna finish this set of lines, and then I'm gonna go have dinner, and then I might be able to convince Jim to play some Star Wars this evening. Although I don't think I'll need much convincing. Because we like playing games. Alright, I'm gonna call it right here. Thank you everyone for watching and sticking around. I hope you enjoyed the stream and my weirdo talking. Sorry for people on YouTube if it turns out to be really, really weird, but if you would like to know when I go live, you can follow me on Twitch or on Twitter at JasmoColors. I tend to tweet right before I go live. And we might be playing Star Wars in about an hour or so. Yeah, I guess I'll see you guys all next time.